On August 9th, 2024, I was arrested for a crime I did not commit. This is the story.
I'm giving you a lot more step up.
Please, she can tell you. I need to get a hold of
Under arrest.
Sir, it's just a misunderstanding. She can tell you.
Under arrest.
It was just a prank.
Okay.
On today, you were pranked by me. This is the real story. I believe I may have committed one of the greatest pranks of our era. It was a prank of deception and confusion, of chaos, and it was a damn good one. A perfect prank is a finely tuned sequence of deception, timing, and surprise built on the foundation of fun and harmlessness. In this video, I will walk you through my greatest prank of all time. We first start with the spark of inspiration, the concept. You see, recently I met this couple through my neighbor homie, and we all go volunteer together and then have dinner sometimes. Now, they have a brother who's in the medical field, and he visits them a few times a month, and sometimes that overlaps with dinner. So we all play games and it's a fun time. In the beginning, I had never exchanged numbers with my neighbor homie's friend's brother. So a little bit of time passes, and one day in April, we're all just driving around and I ask for the brother's number for help with something. And we're all joking, saying, oh, we should prank him. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm in. Let's do it right now. This is what you call the origin of the idea. Something that seems innocuous at first, but has the potential to be turned into this beautiful, playful deception. The best pranks are based on situations that present a natural opportunity for trickery. Now, the friend says he essentially wants to blackmail his brother and to use his job at that. I'm immediately thinking, what the no. So I try to turn the conversation to like a silly blind date type of pranking thing. But his brother's like, no, actually, he's looking for a wife right now. So I think that's a sore spot. And we really can't come up with anything. But a few weeks later, in May, it comes up again. And this friend, he's just really into this idea. So I end up sending a text at 9:20 p.m. on a Friday. Good evening, brother's name and title. We have accessed your hard drive. There are a number of files we assume you'd like to keep private from your employers at blank blank. You have 2 hours to respond. But I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I immediately regret it because I see him that night and he looks so nervous and I feel terrible. So I cave like an hour later and I send him this message. Okay, this was your brother's idea. I say we prank him. I did not like this prank. And he's like, LOL, I just read this. Who is this? And it's like, yeah, it turns out he never saw it. But when he saw my message about pranking his brother, the friend, he looked me square in the eyes with the seriousness of a brain surgeon and nodded like I was about to put the codes in, y'all. It was on. And here we have the creative foundation. At this stage, the idea is just a seed, you know? And you're really trying to figure it out. How do you prank someone without crossing any lines and still leave everybody laughing in the end? I just want you to note here that in the beginning, the goal was to prank him back maybe 2-3 days later. This was not supposed to turn into what it turned into. It's really important to understand your target when you're doing an incredibly powerful, life-altering prank. You cannot skip the research phase. When you know your audience, it can help you execute your prank more successfully. How well you understand the person being pranked really does matter. Now, I will tell you, my neighbor homie's friend is what we'll call a rehabilitated individual. So I knew that they would appreciate a really rough and tumble kind of prank. And also, no one would be getting hurt, other than the friend's wife probably. But I almost did bring her in. I heard she had a giggle problem when it came to pranking, so I was forced to reconsider. And I really did want to include her because I didn't know this person very well, and I did need some help, but in the end, I trudged forth, the conqueror that I am. So I tried to spend some time crafting the deception. And for a prank of this magnitude, preparation was key. The magic really happens in the preparation. When you're setting something up, you have to carefully construct a scenario or the trick that's going to lead your target to believe in something false or something that's completely out of the ordinary. And the only thing I had to work with was the original prank that he wanted to set up. But luckily, he was such a prankster that the idea actually came quite easily to piggyback on his original idea. And because this was a prank on top of a prank, subtlety was very important. The best pranks are those that unfold naturally and feel believable. You have to create a situation where the target's response seems like a natural outcome. Because I felt like having me blackmail someone else could go really wrong really fast, I thought about it a little bit and it was just like, well, what would happen if it did go left? Once I had the idea, I brought the brother in on the official prank. And it's really important that you recruit allies because pranks do often involve cooperation from others. You're gonna find that throughout this entire prank, I could not have really done this on my own. But also, you always need to be prepared to do as much of the work by yourself if you're the one planning it, and having a backup plan or a contingency plan when you're coordinating, because a lot of times people get nervous, they don't want to go along with it, and you don't want to just let it die, do you? You don't want to let it die, do you? And so what originally started as a 2 or 3 day get back, it became a slow and steady build. I'll say it like that. During the buildup, we focused on planting a couple seeds, and I let the idea marinate until my brain could come up with a simple plan. We also started to leave some subtle hints, little pieces of misinformation that feed into the target's expectations. The friend's brother and I discussed how he had brought up extortion laws, and we worked together to keep these conversations simple and vague. And by the brother mentioning extortion, 2 things happened. First, the brother confirmed that the friend didn't even remember his own prank. And then I realized that this guy needed to be punished. How dare you not remember, thereby leaving me, the unwilling texter, vulnerable. You will rue the day. Rue it! On my side of things, every so often, I asked the friend if the brother had ever mentioned the prank. I was planting the seed that the prank never landed, and it was just time to move on. Many moons passed. And I want to note here that the neighbor homie, yeah, he never quite got my prank. He didn't really want to be involved. The brother, he didn't even believe it was going to happen. He thought I was just talking, I guess. I even tried to do the prank a few times, but there were a lot of barriers. We don't hang out on any specific schedule. Sometimes the brother is there, sometimes he's not. And life also happens, so I didn't want to prank someone while they were preparing for a funeral. See, even though the brother really wanted me to scrap the prank, I believed that the timing was perfect, that the longer we waited after the initial event, the less likely it was that the prankee was going to realize he was being pranked. The pacing of the setup really matters. A good prank doesn't feel rushed, but rather it gives the target time to process, to react, and start to question their reality. Because I could feel it in my bones. One day, the time would come, and it would be glorious. In early August, I asked my neighbor homie to come scream the friend's name in frustration and exasperation, recorded my parts, and found some police sounds and lines on YouTube, trusty YouTubey-doobie, because it was time for the execution, the reveal, the payoff. The day was August 9th. It was time to play the tape on voicemail. First, I texted my unwilling accomplice and told him not to pick up his phone. You see, in the moment of confusion, the last thing you need is for someone to give it away. I let him know that if he was with his brother, that he needed to pretend he had no idea what was going on, and I gave him a little bit of information in case he found the text later about how it all went down. He was more worried about the fact that I got his middle name wrong. You see, we had reached the peak of the prank. This is the moment the target should be slightly confused, perplexed, or caught off guard. And in this case, there was a situation escalating in a way they weren't expecting. Now you have to remember, these are my volunteer friends. So I know that the friend would most likely not answer because we pretty much only talk when we're in person doing the volunteering. I knew that the friend's wife was a very busy woman. So busy, in fact, that she would fail to notice or pay attention to my phone call if I placed it at the right time. So around 1 p.m., I called over my neighbor homie, and both of us placed our phones upon my desk next to my computer. We both pressed send at the same time, hoping neither the husband nor wife would answer their phones. And when the friend's phone went to voicemail, we simply hung up. This was an executive decision on my part, because I had originally planned to leave the message on both phones, but I realized that friend's wife would probably be too wrapped up in work to really listen to the message. So I thought it was best to leave the message on her phone like a little baby ticking time bomb. So I let the voicemail play out onto the friend's wife's phone and hung up. Would you like to hear it again?
I'm giving you a lot more step up.
Please, she can tell you. I need to get a hold of
Under arrest.
her. It's just a misunderstanding. She can tell you.
Under arrest.
It was just a prank.
Okay.
I texted the brother, letting him know the prank has been executed. I even gave him some advice about what to say, but nothing happened. We waited, no call, no text. All was quiet where the prank was concerned. Then I got a text at 2:41 p.m. saying, hey, I got your voicemail, but still nothing about the prank, and we're like, what the f*** is going on here? You see, we were all at a moment of confusion, and this can happen when you're executing the best prank of all time. Finally, we receive a text message from the pranky. He has texted the neighbor homie saying, hey, I missed your call. I was in the lab. We don't know what the lab is, but he was there. The neighbor homie, forlorn, solemn, tells him that I will be in jail for the weekend because I had been arrested on a Friday. He felt terrible. I am now going to share the perspective from a home I was not in. The friend's wife did finally notice there was a voicemail, but she could not hear it well. She asked friend, her husband, to listen, and he hears that I'm looking for his brother. The friend calls neighbor homie a few times, to no avail, and the moment of confusion continues as everything goes awry. Somehow, and for reasons no one can explain or understand, they automatically assume I have been arrested for doing illegal activities with the brother. What? They believe the police may be on the way to their house or looking for the brother next. And so the friend calls his brother and is laying into him, and the brother plays along, stone-faced and serious. He realizes the friend is pranking himself and doesn't even remember his own prank, so he's a good brother and he brings it back to center. He tells the friend, I contacted the FBI because someone was trying to blackmail me. And our friend, his brother, is like, what the FBI? You sleep 99% of the time. When the did you have time to contact the FBI? And so the brother lets his brother, our friend, get all poopy and mad as the friend tells his brother he needs to prepare to bail me out of jail. And it is at this moment that someone who had almost nothing to do with the prank got the pleasure of delivering the punchline. And this is also something that you need to prepare for because it won't always be you. If you do not find the prank itself absolutely delicious and delectable on its own, just thinking about it, and you require some sort of experience, you should not be a prankster. Delivering the punchline is the culmination of the prank, and it has to occur when the target either realizes they've been pranked or they fall into a trap, metaphorically, not literally, okay? No literal traps, please. And the way that this happened was the brother finally caves and he says, tell her congratulations. Now the friend is stunned. Why would I do that? She's under the jail right now. And the brother says, she set this up months ago. I never thought she'd pull it off. He did it. He punched. And this reveal was fun and surprising. It wasn't meant to be cruel or harmful. It was essential that the target saw the humor in it all. Now, I do want to be honest. The friend's wife is now very sad and offended because she was actually worried that I was in jail. And I knew that this could happen. So you always need to think about these things. Some people don't like pranks off principle. Okay? But the friend, he fell to his knees and rent his shirt screaming, she got me! I got. I've never got before. This is amazing. This is the most stupendous event of my lifetime. I will never reach a peak of satisfaction like this in my life. And it is here where we reached the resolution. The target understands that they've been pranked. The brother de-escalates our friend, making sure no one feels hurt. And the friend begins to text us. And in the aftermath, the pranky texts the neighbor homie and says, answer, I already know. My brother confessed. And I am infuriated. I text the brother and I say, how could you do this? I had a plan. What is wrong with you? And our friend continues, bro, I have never been reversed Uno card like that in my life with a reverse draw 4. I've never seen this card. He must have felt very, very confused. And from the pranky himself, you guys pulled off the most epic prank of my lifetime. You only missed recording my reaction. I bit down hard like a grouper. And this was when I found out that they had been pranking themselves, that they thought it was something that wasn't even happening, wasn't even a real thing. And that was actually very, very funny. On the way to volunteering together, we all shared our perspectives. And I also told the brother I was no longer upset, because I think he genuinely thought I was actually mad, even though I sent crying, laughing faces, which indicates I'm not actually angry. But he didn't know that, because we don't know each other. None of us know each other very well. well at all. The friend recounted his story to us with glee and laughter, and we enjoyed the moment together. We bonded over the fun. The friend's wife was trying to forgive, and finally the neighbor homie actually seemed to be happy about the prank. He said he didn't like it because he didn't like seeing the sausage get made. And the brother was forgiven for doubting me, and because I initially thought he immediately caved. I didn't know until we got into the car that everything went down, so it was actually a really beautiful moment for us. And something very important. I don't know how to get rid of the voice. In addition to the gleeful acknowledgement, you see that word gleeful. We should be happy. Everyone should be truly happy. Not laughing, painfully crying, but truly gleeful. But also there's something called aftercare, which a lot of you freaks should already know what that means. But if you don't, be gentle. Make sure the target doesn't feel foolish or vulnerable. Not every target will be as insane as this one, seeking out the perfect prank to be played upon themselves. Most people aren't like that, so be careful playing pranks. I, of course, apologized to the wife and agreed I would feel the same way, because if I had found out she was going to jail, I would have been panicking. And once every few weeks, we relive the glory of the prank. I do have some final thoughts on this. The lay of the land in the pranking world on YouTube has gone too far. A true perfect prank leaves the target laughing just as much as everyone else. It's a delicate balance of deception and timing, ensuring that everyone enjoys the experience. Before you go out and try to prank someone, make sure you craft a well-thought-out setup and execute with precision so that you can create a memorable, fun, and harmless joke that strengthens relationships rather than damaging them. I have been your host, Prank Sinatra. I hope you have enjoyed being pranked today. How do you feel about this? Not about how I pranked you today, you loved that, but how did you feel about this prank? If someone took this much time out of their days and weeks and months and many moons passed and they pranked you with such delicate precision, would you appreciate the prank? Would you take offense? Share in the comments below. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I need to deconstruct this voice and peel off the many layers of this voice that has now become semi-permanent in the hopes of relocating my true vocal lilt, my southern drawl, my more typical speech and verbiage. I don't know how long that might take, but I won't put you through it. However, if you do enjoy my voices, you should probably check out this video that I'm going to share up there somewhere in the cards. Okay, alright then, I love you. It's been a pleasure to see you again today. Thank you for liking this video. Alright, ta-ta. Okay, alright, no, for real, you should leave because I'm grumbling. This voice is not, I can't do it. It's hard, it's a lot. It's a lot. Oh no, it's happening.
Let's go, mate. Otherwise, let's go. That's right.
Okay, bye!